Okay, so this says Toastmasters International cites a report by Gallup poll that 40% of Americans fear public speaking. A student believes that less than 40% of her school fears public speaking. She randomly surveys 361 schoolmates and finds that 135 report fear of public speaking. Conduct a hypothesis test to determine if the percent at her school is less than 40%. So the first thing that we're going to want to do in hypothesis testing is set up our null and alternative hypothesis. So H0 is our null hypothesis, and H1 is going to be alternative. Remember that H0 is always going to be an equal sign. So we are testing that 40%. So for our null hypothesis, it's going to be that P is equal to 0.40. And the alternative hypothesis is that less than 40%. So P is less than 0.40. Which one's our claim here? Well, we're claiming that less than 40%, so our claim is going to be the H1 value. Now we want to run our test. To run our test, we are going to use the one population proportion test in Microsoft Excel. So we're going to do, let's go to proportions here, and I'm going to zoom out a little bit so we can see this. All right, so the values we're going to enter are, our null hypothesis is it's less than 40, correct? So 0.40. And for both our null and alternative hypothesis. And then we want to make sure for our inequality we select less than. Now I need to find my sample proportion, my sample size, and my significance level. So let's take a look and see if we can find those. So my sample proportion, which is P hat, is the percent of people from the survey who expressed fear. We can find that by doing x divided by n, and in this case, surveyed 361 students, and we found that 135 of them expressed fear of public speaking. So we're going to divide that up and get a percentage. And we get, I'll round this 4 decimal places. Here, let's do this right here. So, sorry, clear this out. 135 divided by 361 gives us 0.37396. So we'll do 0.3740. This would be 0.3740. That's our p hat. Our sample size n is 361. And our significance level, well, it doesn't tell us the significance level. So if we don't see a significance level, we'll use 0.05. Now let's put those values in. So ours was 0.3740 and a sample size of 361, and we're going to use a significance level of 0.05. And so we get a test statistics of negative 1.01, and so our test statistic is negative 1.01, and then our p-value is 0.1566. Now, after we get our p-value, we are going to compare it to our significance level. So we want to find out, we're going to look at these two. Is p less than alpha, or is p greater than our alpha value? We can see that p is greater than alpha. And remember that if p is greater than alpha, what we are going to say is we cannot reject the null hypothesis. And then is our claim H0 or H1? Since our claim here is H1, we're also going to say we cannot support the claim We use the word support because we had H1. That less than 40% of students are afraid of public speaking. All right, let's take a look at another one. It says the mean age of De Anza College students in a previous term was 26.6 years old. An instructor thinks that the mean age for students is older than 26.6. She randomly surveys 56 online students. Oh, she thinks the age for online students is older than 26.6. She randomly surveys 56 online students and finds that the mean was 29.4 and a standard deviation of 2.1. Construct a hypothesis test. Again, step 1, null and alternative hypothesis. The null hypothesis is H0. The alternative, the null is always going to be equal. This time we're doing mean, so we're going to do that the average age, right, or the mean age is equal to 26.6. She thinks that it is older than 26.6. So the alternative would be mean greater than 26.6. And then, which one's our claim here? This is our claim. Now this time we're going to do a hypothesis test for means. So since we're doing a hypothesis test for means, I need a sample mean, I need a sample standard deviation, I need our sample size, and then I also need a significance level. They don't provide us with a significance level here, so we're going to assume the alpha is equal to 0.05. What is n here? How many students did she survey? She surveyed 56. Our sample standard deviation was 2.1. Our sample mean was 29.4. So we're going to put those values into our hypothesis test. This time we are working with means. So she is claiming that they are older than the average, which was 26.6. So our sample mean was 29.4. Our standard deviation was 2.1. Our sample size was 56. And our significance level was 0.05. What we are looking for here is we are looking for our test statistic and our p-value. So our test statistic is 9.78 and our p-value is 0. So we're going to ask ourselves, let's compare p and our significance level. Is p less than or greater than our significance value? This time p is less than alpha. What does this mean? This means that we reject the null hypothesis. And which one was our claim? Since our claim was H1, we are also going to support, or we will say the data supports the claim that the mean age for online students is more than 26.6.